Hello and welcome, chat. Welcome to the pre-match build-up show. Liverpool go to Newcastle looking for all 3 points, and it's a very positive Newcastle side. We know Eddie Howe, since he's come into Newcastle, the Geordies have took him to heart. In reality, I think a lot of neutrals, when you have watched Newcastle, especially over the last 12, 15 months, they've been very, very impressive. But chat, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's going to be a big game. Of course, we know it's obviously Newcastle did suffer their last defeat, and at the hands of Liverpool. I think we all remember that game. We were doing a watch along, and it was a 95th, 97th minute winner from Carvalho after all that time wasted by Nick Pope and Everton. But obviously, we're going to delve into the stats. Obviously, starting 11 prediction as well. Want to gauge your thoughts and opinions on the big game. It is a 5:30 kickoff tomorrow, GMT. So we will be doing a watch along tomorrow afternoon as well. But big up Tom. Well, big up both Toms anyway. Absolute legends. And big up Lav. As I said, I think might be a couple of new people in the stream as well, everyone. As I said, we're just going to speak about Newcastle firstly, chat. Let us know your thoughts and opinions on Newcastle this season. When you look at obviously the form table in relation to, we'll have a little look at statistics wise in terms of Newcastle this season. So you played 22 games, obviously registering 10 wins, 1 loss, and obviously scoring 36 goals and only conceding 13 goals in the Premier League. So I think, apologies, I'm wrong, chap, but I think that it might be potentially the best defensive record in the Premier League. So that's what we're coming up against. We know the quality, so yeah, they've had 12 clean sheets already in the Premier League, and that speaks volumes in reality of how well Eddie Howe has got this side playing. On the back of that, obviously, when you look at the form in terms of Newcastle, they've had 3 back-to-back 3 draws in the Premier League. As I said, it's not been plain sailing in recent weeks. A lot of people, and quite rightly so, have been alluding to obviously the cup competitions. It's great to see Newcastle in the League Cup final. We'll all be cheering on the Geordies against Manchester United. As I said, obviously Liverpool and Newcastle very similar in terms of, as we all know. I've got a deep love for Newcastle as well. A lot of my mates are from Newcastle, and obviously a lot of family connections as well. So yeah, tremendous city, tremendous football club as well, and a tremendous set of fans. As I said, but big up Alan. As I said, that must be a new thing, chat. I'll say you can tell I haven't bloody live streaming in a while. Alan's in red. You love to see it. Get in, Jack. But Mark has gone with a 3-2 win for Liverpool. Hopefully that's the case, mate. Gary, as I said, big up, Gary. Hope you are well as well, chats. As I said, get your score predictions in. Get your starting 11 predictions in the comment section below. And if you haven't already done so, massively helps out the channel grow anyway. Drop a like as well, and drop a dislike if you're disliking the content. You're very welcome to that as well. But as I said, obviously when we're looking at Newcastle United this season in relation to the league table, as we know, the 4th in the Premier League, a win for Liverpool tomorrow would be absolutely massive. And as I said, I've titled it in me title on YouTube anyway. It could be a season defining 3 points. As I know, we all know there's a lot of games to play in the Premier League. A lot can happen in relation to top 4, top of the table as well. We've seen Arsenal drop points at home against Manchester City, a massive result for them. Pep Guardiola's side going into that, and now and the whole commotion really. We've been through that as a fan base in relation to obviously the ups and downs in a campaign against Manchester City in the previous 5 years. I think it's been a very long time, as we know, since Arsenal Football Club have won a league title. It's just about getting back into the groove of things in terms of the expectations, and I'm not buying into this notion of new Arsenal fans throwing in the towel too early. Christ, what are we, 22 games into a Premier League season? A lot of football to play. Liverpool have still got to play City, still got to play Arsenal. That's why I say Liverpool going into this season, well, the next couple of weeks, the fixture, the results against Everton was absolutely pivotal, and it was not just in terms of, it was great to see a great Liverpool performance. People might go, oh, it was against Everton and all that, but even still, you've got to go out there and put in a performance. And I'm hoping, and I think the lads will very much turn up tomorrow night All that experience in the tank in previous years will very much stand them in great stead. Um, in terms of nerves and everything tomorrow. We can see it going horrible too. Mark, it's the thing, you know me, Mark and chat, and usually quite positive as well. And as I said, it's and obviously I've had one look on Twitter in terms of obviously the news with Manchester United, but of course, and the thing is, Man United have historically over the last 10-year period since Alex Ferguson has retired or whenever he did, they've always spent money, so I don't think it's not gonna drastically change anything. I think the big main thing, as we all know, is Manchester United fundamentally is getting the right manager in charge at their football club, and then you will see them elevating to the top of the league and top of Europe as well. I think they've got a very good manager, but nothing about United. But so I don't try and get too dragged into obviously the news, and of course obviously the news in the last couple of weeks is Man United getting taken over and that. But as I said, we just got to focus on ourselves, focus on our job in hand. The Champions League, even when you look at 2005 when we won the Champions League, that season played absolutely terrible in the Premier League as much as I can remember. I was very young, but obviously watching documentaries and everything as you get older and understanding how that league season did transpire, who would have thought in 05 that Liverpool would have come back 3-all and beaten probably one of the most historic, legendary sides in Champions League competition. The fact when you look back on it, the amount of quality in that team in Milan was quite remarkable, and just goes to show how good of a performance that was. And if we need, say 18-19 League Istanbul games, we need to raise our game, and there's still levels to reach, lads, as well, and ladies. You look at Gakpo, you look at Darwin Núñez and Gakpo, yes, people are wanting them to hit the ground running, but that's basically going to be impossible when you are, as the side has been in recent weeks, it's been very massively underperforming, and we've known that. But there's levels to Liverpool's game that we can very much do tomorrow night and elevate in the next couple of weeks and months to come at the end of the season. So I've got no issues really. I think we will get Jurgen, we'll get everything sorted. And even if Liverpool, of course, we want to see Liverpool get 3 points, but it's just going to be the same thing that we've seen in recent weeks, where you get the reaction, but it's anticipated. But yeah, Philip, I don't think if we will be able to watch the full match tomorrow evening, as I'm out for a birthday meal for his sister's 50th birthday weekend. Well, Philip, hope you have a happy birthday to your sister as well, and enjoy it, Phil. As I said, hopefully the Reds do get 3 points fundamentally tomorrow night, mate. But most importantly, a happy birthday to your sister, and hopefully have a good night, mate. As I said, let us know how it goes. And as I said, that is my score prediction to my right. Don't know if it's your left or whatnot, chat. But I've gone 1-0. I think it's going to be a very dogged, grinding out result. We've seen when, as I said, in the previous fixture and the previous result Liverpool did have in the Premier League, it wasn't easy. We didn't make it easy for ourselves. But yeah, I've mentioned obviously the great clean sheet records in relation to obviously Newcastle. Chat, let us know if you've managed to watch any of Newcastle this season, or even on Match Today or whatnot. What's your thinking behind the way in which Eddie Howe has been getting them playing? As I said, League Cup final this season already. And I think Jurgen Klopp was quoted, was it yesterday or today's press conference, in relation to getting asked about Newcastle. And he was just saying, Newcastle really, considering obviously the great backing they've got currently now with the finances, I don't think they've really stretched their muscles. Yes, they've bought, was it Isaac for 50, 60 odd million? But when you just take a step back and really analyse their spending, they've spent well. And first and foremost, Eddie Howe has done a tremendous job. I think a lot of people, and especially in certain sections of the Newcastle fan base, were, when they seen Howe come in, it was whether he will be the manager to take them to the top. And if he continues what he's been doing in the last 12, 15 months, I think Newcastle fans alike will very much will not have any qualms. In reality, especially if you do get Champions League football this year, it will be probably above expectations in reality, especially for me as a neutral. I didn't anticipate Eddie Howe to have that such a monster impact in which he has had, but that's what the one thing I questioned, chat, when he come into Newcastle was, we all seen him at Bournemouth. years prior to obviously the appointment at Newcastle, and it was Bournemouth quite good on the eye in certain games, but was just getting that consistent level from a defensive performance. Did score three, but did score five. They would concede 5 or 6. That Bournemouth side under Eddie Howe, but as I said, he took a sabbatical. He took a time away. As we know, if you haven't seen the interviews, a couple of great interviews that he's done with Jake Humphries and a lot of great podcasts on YouTube, so come check them out. And he spoke about how he watched certain coaching philosophies. He's taken a lot on board, and that's what he wants. Any elite coach or any manager, you can see already, and hopefully that's not the case tomorrow. But his defensive structure is absolutely a thing to marvel at. Really, in reality, as I said, only 13 goals conceded in the league, 12 clean sheets. That speaks massive volumes to how difficult it will be for Liverpool tomorrow. Let's get to everyone's comments as well. Absolute legends. Just needs to resume with the high pressure and the tempo. That's it, Mark, innit, mate? As I said at the top of the show, and we all watched that Everton game. I was very lucky enough to have gone the game a couple of nights ago on Monday night, and yeah, people will question the opposition that you were against Everton Football Club, but you still have to put it in a performance. And what a look! We'll speak about obviously Gakpo and Darwin Núñez, because I wanted to speak about them chat in relation to when we do go to our starting 11s, but it's getting them, and I think when Liverpool hopefully start banging in goals, I think Darwin Núñez, once the penny drops in front of goal, I think he's doing absolutely everything apart from getting goals. But modern day forwards attacking play in the Premier League, you need to have probably more to your goals, because you look at Harry Kane, everyone looks at Harry Kane and goes, of course, he's a goal scorer. But I think Harry Kane's game has evolved in the last 4 or 5 year period. He's more than just a goal scorer. You look at him dropping deep. You look at Messi as well. Every top, even Lewandowski at Barcelona now. See it in the Champions League midweek. He's not really done a lot in the game in certain games, but that's when the top players come alive. But Darwin Núñez has got a long way to go, but I think very much he's got the right attributes. Similar with Gakpo as well. I think that goal gave him a lot of confidence. And hopefully to give our lads a lot more confidence going forward. I know a lot of you do like your statistics, chat, so this is a couple of good ones here if I can get it up. Wait 1 second here. So Liverpool are unbeaten in 5 away league games against Newcastle, winning 3, drawing 2, and they've never gone 6 without defeat at St James's Park in Liverpool's league history. So bit of history for you there. Newcastle are winless in the last 12 Premier League meetings with Liverpool. Liverpool have registered 4 draws, 11. Newcastle have lost. Newcastle have made 4 draws and 11 losses against Liverpool since a 2-0 home win for Newcastle back in 2015 under Steve McLaren, the Wally with the Brolly. That's not describing me. I know I am one. But big up Dodds. Absolutely. Speaking of Newcastle, an absolute legend, Dodds. Dodds has gone with a 2-0 win. You know, Dodds, he's been on me pre-match prediction show anyway in the past when we've had Newcastle coming up. But as I said, Dodds, I wasn't too sure, Ryan, if you were in work or whatnot. But as I said, I'll get you on the post-match tomorrow, very much so, if you are available, mate. But appreciate you popping in, mate. As I said, Ryan, what's the rationale and what's the thinking really behind Newcastle? Obviously, you're riding on a wave of excitement, and quite rightly so, in terms of getting to your first League Cup final in a very long time. I don't think the excitement has been like this since you had Bobby Robson back in the day anyway. The obviously, what a legend Bobby was. Everyone, you see all documentaries and just everyone spoke so highly of Bobby Robson. He's probably one of my favourite footballing people outside of Liverpool in terms of what he's done for the game, and obviously just when you listen to people, especially the elite level in terms of football in the Premier League, he is the man. Even as this stint at Barcelona as well, Bobby Robson, he's a legend of the game, and he's revered around Europe, quite rightly so. Hopefully we can get a run after beating Everton. Big up Shay. Hope you did well, mate. 100%, mate. That's what we're wanting. Hate not having the club settled can cause us so many problems. Yeah, that's it, marking it. And Mount can go play at Sunday League. Yeah, we'll probably do another episode this weekend after once we've got past obviously the apologies, Jack. Once we've got past all the Premier League football mark, we'll do, of course, do a show on Mason Mount potentially come to Liverpool. If it is, if he isn't, I'd like to see Mount come to Liverpool, but not for like 60, 70 odd million. If we get him at the right price, but that's another show for another night. And I know there's quite a lot of years judging off when we were in Connor's chat an hour ago. A lot was it was like 70% in Connor's chat said not in favour of Mason Mount, so interesting. But Phil's gone with it a 2-1 Liverpool, and the winner will be scored at the end of the game. Phil, another one of them, mate. Another one of them. I hope not. But chat, as I said, get your score predictions if you haven't know. If you haven't already, get your starting 11 in the chat anyway. We'll read them all out. As I said, I'll quickly rattle through obviously the starting 11 that did feature against Everton on Monday night. And obviously it was Alisson, Becker, Trent, right back, Matip, Gomez, Andy Robinson, Henderson, Fabinho and Bajcetic. So we played that double six. And by Lord, it helped massively. I think it was just having that right experience in around Bajcetic. I think, yes, it's quite defensive playing 2 sixes, but the form Fabinho has been shown in recent weeks. We need 2 sixes. In reality, the amount of goals Liverpool have been shipping, especially this season, we all know. And it was Salah, Gakpo and Darwin Núñez. So, chat, obviously, Thiago Alcantara, as we know, he's injured. Virgil van Dijk is back into contention now. So, chat, big question for you. Who would you start centre half? For me, obviously, Ibu's injured as well. So, yeah, I'd go with Van Dijk and I think Callum Wilson. Yeah, I'm going to go Matip and Virgil van Dijk, only due to, obviously, we know, Wilson's electric pace. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be in. Dodds, if he's still in the chat, is he going to be fit or for tomorrow, mate? As I said, the injury concerns for, the players that aren't playing tomorrow for Newcastle are Bruno Gomes, Kraft, Lascelles, Manquillo, Matty Target, and Joe Willock, who's got a thigh injury as well. And the 2 question marks over, the 50-50 in terms of coming into this game for Newcastle, are, of course, as I was just saying then, Callum Wilson and Alan St. Maximum now. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, the injuries for Liverpool going into this game. Obviously, Canate, Thiago, Luis Diaz, Arthur, and of course, Calvin Ramsey. Shout out to Calvin. It's bloody so disappointing from all of us. Looks like he's had a surgery this week and he's on the road to recovery. So it's not the best, in all honesty, but it's not ideal at all. It's such a young player as well. I don't think, especially when you get a player that age, the body's developing and as well, and they're growing. So, of course, you would have hoped Liverpool have actually done the homework prior to us signing Ramsey, but I think it's just the penny's not really dropped for him in reality as a chat. And hopefully when he does come back, whether that be in the next 6-12 months, if that's what it's looking like, he comes back fully strong. He needs a bit more beefing up. Ramsey needs a bit more developing. We've seen with Trent coming quite young at that early age. Calvin Ramsey come in and he was obviously Trent's developed his game physically now. So it's interesting. Big up, Darren. How you doing, mate? I'm hoping we showed the same intensity that we did against the Bitters. 100% Darren, and judging from every single one he is in the comments chat as always, it's the intensity that has probably frustrated a lot of yous and me as well, chat. The intensity when you go from one game into the other, I think that's, Jurgen Klopp spoke already. Consistency and the intensity. If Liverpool can match that in quite a lot and we get a couple of results, I think if we are to go to, and hopefully we are going to tomorrow night, it'd be a massive 3 points, probably one of our biggest 3 points of the season. in all honesty, when you look at the magnitude of this fixture, in terms of it would elevate Newcastle a bit more higher, of course. In terms of league standings, quickly, chat, as I said, Newcastle are fourth. But if Liverpool can win, it would move Liverpool to 6 points. I think, yeah, if we can win this game against Newcastle tomorrow, chat, it would put us 6 points behind Newcastle. And I think we'd have 2 games in hand. Oh no, it'd be a game in hand anyway, or we'll be free. If we can win our game in hand against Chelsea, that's not a given anyway, but if we can, then we'd only be, I think, we'd be 3 points or something thereof behind Newcastle United in fourth. So, and then of course, we want to be competing for the league title. That's what we wanted this season, but very disappointing. But we just got to focus on, first and foremost, getting our solidified position in the top 4, because we know how important that is for the revenue and fundamentally for any potential targets coming into the club and the finances as well. But Ryan, heard Maxi is fit. Oh, it's not too bad there, Dodds. As I said, probably one of the most I've said to you, Ryan, on a podcast when we've been speaking about Liverpool, Newcastle, mate, in the past. For me, chat, let us know your thoughts on Alan St. Maximin. For me, he's one of the most frustrating players when I've watched him as a neutral. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Like, you look at the game in which he had against Manchester City. I think that was it this season. Or was it the season before, when he's just absolutely terrorising Kyle Walker, turning him left, right, and up and down, and sending him in everywhere. And then I think it was a performance that he put in this week. It was against Leicester, and the whole tempo of the team was quite positive. And then he comes on, and then he's just so slow in terms of his ball retention, and just very sloppy in the ball in terms of his final pass, or not getting his head up. And it just slows down the attack. But Gary's gone with Ali, Trent. Bloody hell, Gary. Do you know Van Dijk's back, lad? But go ahead, Gary. Gary's went with Ali, Trent, Gomez, Phillips, Robinson, Elliott, Bajcetic. I don't know where you've got Costas there. Is he playing left mid? Costas, Gakpo, Salah, and Darwin as well. Interesting starting 11 there, Gary. As I said, mate, very interesting. United have had a bid from Qataris. Yeah. But yeah, take over from the Glazers. Yeah, we'll do another show on that, Phil. As I mentioned at the top of the show, mate. So just speaking about the Reds, but of course we will be doing shows this weekend, just talking and try and get a couple of Manchester United fans on as well, in terms of what it means for the Premier League. For me, as I said at the top of the show, it's not that Man United have never not. They make out and they get the Norwich scarves out, don't they, when they want to spend some money. Like the amount of money they've spent in the last 10 years and really being how far away, being a million miles away from competing for the Premier League. The biggest issue, as we know, is United getting the right manager and him elevating that team to greater heights. Of course, the revenue will help, but at the end of the day, Newcastle, we're already seeing how good they're playing. Liverpool will come again. Got Jurgen Klopp, and we've got the crux, and very much the spine of our team is still very good. You look at Van Dijk, look at Alisson, Canarse if he stays fit. Of course, for me, I still think we need to buy another centre half. Cover for Bajcetic, because I think Bajcetic is the new long-term number 6 at the football club, but we don't want to be running Bajcetic into the grounds. Of course, the midfield issues, not going to go on that because everyone knows them. And obviously look at Salah, Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz, and Darwin Núñez and Roberto Firmino if he does get a new contract. I don't know if I've said it so many times this season, Liverpool's forward line, if they're all fully firing and if they're all fully fit, we've got probably the best attacking forward line in the whole of Europe. It's just that case in point of Liverpool, and not just for Liverpool, but for every top elite side, especially in European competitions and Premier League games, are won and lost in midfield. Fundamentally, you could potentially get away with it, the odd poor attacker here and there, but of course, you always need a top goalkeeper, you always need top centre halves, and fundamentally, you always need world class midfielders. And currently, Liverpool have probably only got about one of them at the minute in terms of Thiago when he's fully fit, in full form. Too inconsistent, but not on his day. He's a world beater. yeah, Ryan, and obviously that fella that come from Everton Football Club. Obviously, it was interesting because he was public enemy number one. Anthony Gordon. When you listen to Newcastle fans, and I spoke to Ryan, my good mate. Obviously, we're gonna go. They very much take a dislike into Everton Football Club. Newcastle fans, I think it goes to back to obviously Pickford, obviously being an ex Sunderland goalkeeper, and obviously the rivalry in recent seasons with with Everton and Newcastle. It's very rife, putting it mildly anyway. But chat, get me your starting 11s, as I said. I'm going to go with Ali in goal. I'm going to go with Trent right back, Robinson left back, Paul Van Dijk and Joel Matip in. Centre halves, go with Pacetic, go with Fabinho. I'd go with Henderson again. If not, I'd go with Milner, because I think it's gonna demand quite a lot in that Liverpool midfield. Along with obviously, it's a massive miss that Bruno's not playing for Newcastle. Christ, yeah, I think if you haven't seen the comments today, I think Klopp was basically going through the whole Newcastle team and just quite rightfully so, waxing lyrical about them because a tremendous team. And then the forward line, it'd be unchanged for me to the forward line that starts against the Ev. I'd go with Salah, Gakpo through the middle, and Darwin Núñez on the left as well. Obviously on the bench tomorrow evening we'd have Firmino, Jota back to full fitness as well, which is a massive plus point. But yeah, have I mentioned anything? Kicking on from the derby, we've already mentioned that, and that comes from the intensity. Spoke about Eddie Howe, spoke about the League Cup final for Newcastle, which would all be cheering on the Newcastle faithful. With that, Jota and Virgil van Dijk, as I said, are already back. And yeah, as I said, chat, we'll be live tomorrow to 5:30 kickoff. So we'll be live, we'll be live at 5:15 tomorrow, everyone. So if you don't get your notification, we'll be live on the channel. So hopefully we'll see you there. I'll make sure I read every single one of your comments as well. And can one of the mods please drop Darren's obviously channel link in the comments, please, mate. One of the mods. But Darren, I think Hendo might get rested with Madrid coming up on Tuesday. Probably Darren. Who would your midfield be? It does. And in terms of chat, as I said, I've gone with the midfield three that played against Everton, but it's going to be very difficult. I think if we can, ideally, I'd like us to go strong tomorrow. Go strong, have a quick start. I think whatever stadium you go to, whether that be in Europe or Premier League, the most important, and we see it when teams come to Anfield as well. If a team can be still 0-0 at Anfield for 10, 15, 25 minutes into the game, then the crowd gets on the back of the home team, similar to Anfield, and that's what we're wanting in relation to obviously Liverpool going to obviously St James's tomorrow. Stifle any Newcastle attacks as much as we possibly can. Do not be conceding first, chat. That's the main thing. And really, just play our football. Try and play what we were doing against Everton. Yes, we started a bit slow against Everton, but I think once we found our rhythm and then the confidence was flowing and everything, I think if we get an early goal, I think the floodgates will open for Liverpool. It's just whether Liverpool can get that first goal. Because from a tactical sense, it just opens up the whole of St James's Park then, because they're having to then come out of their shape, and then obviously with the pace of Núñez, Gakpo and Salah on the counter, there's going to be, of course, space to exploit. But yeah, Mark, I think it's on beat. Is it on beat? No, it's going to be a Saturday. Yeah, it'll be on Sky, I think, chat. But whatever. Hang on, I can quickly check here. Yeah, Sky main event tomorrow, everyone. But a bit nice one for that, Mark. But chat, as I said, 1-0 prediction for me. And if you are watching on the repeat, let us know your thoughts and opinions going into tomorrow's game. As I said, we'll be live tomorrow at 5:15. But chat, as I said, made up to do a live stream. Apologies, I'm being as active this week. It's obviously study week in uni this week, so I've been doing a bit of that. Bit of editing and everything. So I will see you tomorrow, 5:15. But chat, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a absolutely, always get hiccups at the wrong time. Have a fantastic weekend. Look after yourselves, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the Reds can put us in a very good mood tomorrow afternoon. We'll see you later, Reds, and a massive thank you. Obviously, shout out Darren as well. Shout out Mark. Shout out Phil. Phil, enjoy the meal tomorrow, mate, as well. As I said, you said with your sister, enjoy that, mate. Let us know tomorrow how you get on. Big up Shay as well. Hope you're well. Big up Connor. Big up Gary. Big up Alan. Big up Tom. Big up both Toms as well. But Reds, I will see you tomorrow, and I'm excited. But yeah, but Newcastle have been defensively solid under Howjack, 100% there, Tom. And big up Henry as well. Apologies, Henry. We will see you tomorrow. But chat, if I don't see you tomorrow, we will be having our usual post-match reaction show if you can't watch the watch along anyway. But as I said, Henry, hope you had a good night, and everyone, enjoy it. If you didn't work or whatnot, have a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. Come on, the Reds.